We are going to have a great show for you today. It's been a pretty crazy day. You know why? Today, I actually went to meet one of our great supporters of our KPFT program. You know, they took advantage of that stuff like, hey, meet Egberto, have some coffee. In this case, we had some tamales today. And so I ran over there. We went to a truck stop. I forgot to get a damn picture, man. But anyway, we went to the truck, you know, where they have all the trucks lined up, and we wanted to get some Indian food, but the shop was closed. So what we did, we went and got ourselves some tamales, no, was it tamales? Not tacos, tamales, some tamales, and they were very, very tasty. Anyhow, welcome aboard, Ryan W. Featherstorm. Welcome aboard, Eric Hayes. Welcome aboard, Lee Grant. Welcome aboard, John Cotter from Tokyo, flying those big birds, you know? His is bigger. Big birds, those big birds that he flies, man. Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. So we have Tokyo, Barcelona, Spain. We have Yvette Avery Herod in Atlanta, Georgia. Lee Grant in Montgomery County. AVQ in Brooklyn, New York. Eric Hayes in Kingwood, Texas. And Ryan Featherstone. I don't know where are you at? Ryan, right here in Houston, right? Anyway, let me know. If that's where you're calling in from. Anyway, folks, don't forget, give us those thumbs up before we get started. Give us those likes on Facebook. Let's get it all going. The yellow big bird from Sesame Street. No, we got the big commercial airline. That's what John Cotter flies. So don't mess with him, man. He knows how to fly those big things through storms and hurricanes. I know you're here in H-Town, right? Anyhow. Having a good time. Anyway, we're going to have a great show for you today. Share, folks. Share, por favor. What is share in Spanish? I can't remember. Comparte el programa. I'm forgetting Spanish, guys. The other day I was talking to somebody in Spanish and the words just stopped coming. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me tell you how you know that you're letting any particular language slip. When you start thinking, normally when I'm speaking English, I am thinking in English. And when I'm speaking Spanish, I'm thinking in Spanish. You're in trouble when you're trying to get to a word, so you start thinking in the other language. So, you know, when we're talking about soap operas in Panama, when we speak or Spanglish, we would talk about novelas. We didn't call soap operas. We just call it novelas, which is a Spanish name for it. So it'll turn out that we're talking, hey, man, did you watch your novela today, right? So, you know, if I'm talking to an American here and I'm saying, hey, did you see that? You know, and this happened to me when I was at UT, because we used to we had All My Children. Remember that soap opera? All My Children used to be shown in the hall. It was so popular at UT. They used to show it in the screen in the Union Hall, where we have the big screen, right? Crazy. That's how old All My Children is, man. And I used to like All My Children because, and I mean, let me tell you a secret. Here's this guy admitting something that he shouldn't admit. I actually used to skip physics sometimes if there's a good stuff that's going to come the day after. Anyhow, let's get busy. Anybody else new came in? Not yet. All right. Let me start reading your stuff. Let's start reading your stuff. Para ver. You haven't given me much. Eric has a long thing here that says pricing, power, and indoctrination at its finest. Texas A&M University ranks number 1 in enrollment increases for the last academic school year, according to data from the Texas Higher Education Board. One of the state's most prominent universities based in College Station increased its enrollment from 2022 to 2023 with 2,433 more students, while its rival, the University of Texas, increased enrollment by 893 students. Of course, UT's a better school, man. What can I say? The two higher education institutions are known for having some of the largest student enrollments among state's public universities, but one outpaced the other by more than 1,500 students. According to the Higher Education Board's preliminary data from 2023 fall semester, Texas A&M University has 69,589 enrolled, while the University of Texas ranked second enrollment with 53,082. Really? That surprised me because we were always higher enrolled than A&M. I'm wondering if A&M is counting some of their ancillary universities like Prairie View University, which is a part of A&M, etc. While we don't count North Texas, we don't count University of Texas, Arlington, University of Texas, Dallas, University of Texas, San Antonio, etc. I don't know your numbers, Eric, but I would be surprised if the campus in Texas A&M has 69,000, while the campus at UT has 53,000. So verify those numbers for me, Eric. Regarding other Texas public universities, University of North Texas followed behind TAMU in second place with enrollment spikes from fall 2022. Overall, UNT saw an enrollment increase of 2402. In third place, Texas A&M University Commerce increased its enrollment by almost 13%, and 1340 students in fourth place. University of Texas in San Antonio saw an increase of 30. You see, they separate Texas. Now, did they separate A&M from let's say, A&M Galveston and so forth? I need to find that out, because I find it hard to believe that College Station has 63, 69, yeah, almost 70,000. I mean, that would be out of character not out of character, but completely out of sync from everything that I've known of the past. So let me know that for a fact, Eric. So please let me know. I said based on College Station. Oh, whoa, that's surprising. That is surprising to me, though, Eric. I'm going to look that up, because I can't let the University of Texas Austin. We know it's a baddest university, and we know all of that, but it was even so in the numbers. But if that's the case, I'm going to have to do some talking to my people in Austin, because I remember when I was going to the University of Texas back in the 80s, we had a peak. We couldn't have more than 50,000 students. I remember when I left, I think we were at 49 something, and we were trying to keep it at 50,000. I'll look it up. I'll look it up and see exactly what the report says. Anyway, Tom Sarnik has a new limerick. And as you all know, if Tom Sarnik brings a limerick, Egberto reads it with gusto. So let's see. Let me kind of look at it. Hey, Tom, I'm going to read your limerick from the beginning without having read it before. Let's see if I can make sense out of it without pre-reading it. So here we go. Speaker Johnson cast stone, so he must be without sin. Has a chastity app on his phone for himself and his kin. He's holier than thou, pure as milk from a cow, unless he's really a wolf disguised in sheepskin. Hey, I did it. But you know what? As usual, perfection in Tom Zarnik's limerick. Love it. Love it. I hope you put in that on my site. I haven't been able to look at your authorship on the site lately. I've been so swamped. I'm behind in like 15 blogs. So bear with me, guys. All right, let's see. Maywood says, hi, y'all. E2247 in the house. He says, picture James Connolly, one greatest ever Irish leader, said many years ago, England has no more moral right to administer Irish affairs than it must administer affairs of America or Japan. I love that. I love that. Me gusta eso. Me encanta eso. All right, what else have we got here? Para ver, para ver, para ver, para ver. Okay. All right, folks. Today's show is gonna be titled. Let me bring it up on because I posted it on. Whoa, what did I do there? I made a mistake when I entered it on. I better fix that real quick. I made a mistake when I entered it. The show is listed there on Daily Kos because I like to play it there as well. And I made a slight boo-boo that I am going to fix in real time to make sure people don't think, oh my God, Egberto, you can't spell. You're spelling with crazy characters. So I'm going to fix that right now as we speak on Daily Kos because I can't leave such a big mistake just railing. All right, here we go. Publish. Now I'm published at Daily Kos. All right. Anyway, folks, don't forget the telephone number is 281 823-7747. Anybody want to call in and talk? 281-823-7747. Title of the show is Medicare Advantage Scams. Liz Cheney slams conspiracy theorist senator, and Sanders versus Big Pharma. That's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to start with Medicare Advantage with for all of you who watch my program on a daily basis, you know that I interviewed Diane Archer of the organization called Care USA. She wrote an op-ed in the Common Dreams that I want us to cover today because it's important. December 7th is a deadline to enroll in Medicare Disadvantage. In many Medicare Disadvantages, they call it Medicare Advantage. Remember, it is really Medicare Disadvantage. Why? Because it is run by the private sector who is taking our tax dollars to transfer it directly to shareholders, executives, and whatever is left over, they go ahead and give you health care. Remember that. They like to say it the other way around. They like to say they efficiently provide health care. Whatever is left, they then give it to it's a profit for but that's not what it does. They ensure their profits first. And that's how they go about scamming you. I repeat, that's how they go about scamming you. That's how they go about scamming you. All right, let's get busy. And let me put that on the screen so you guys can kind of take it along with me. But I want you all to pass this article around. I have it inside of the blog, but I'm going to put it in a chat as well. Let people read this article. But for our podcast, we need to go through it right this minute. So here we go. 7 questions to ask to protect yourself from Medicare scams. So actually, let's reintroduce this. Diane Archer, she is the president of Care USA. It's a very important organization, an independent digital hub covering health and financial issues facing boomers and families. It's an important organization. We've interviewed her before here on Politics Done Right. To ensure you have good coverage for both current and unforeseeable health needs, this open enrollment period, you should choose traditional Medicare. 7 questions to ask to protect yourself from Medicare Advantage. All right. During this Medicare open enrollment period, ask yourself these 7 questions. And please know that you can always call the Medicare Rights Center at 800-333-414. Or let me repeat, that is 800-333-4114, or your SHIP State Health Insurance Assistance Program for free, unbiased advice on any of your Medicare questions. Again, that is 800-333-4114. What are these 7 questions? The first one is, what is the biggest difference between traditional Medicare and Medicare Advantage plan? Second question is, should I trust an insurance agent advice about my Medicare options? The simple answer is no. Why can't I rely on my friends or the government to star rating systems to pick a good Medicare Advantage plan? We're going to talk about that. I am enrolled in Medicare Advantage plan. Can I count on seeing the physicians listed in a network and lower costs? No. Doesn't the government make sure that Medicare Advantage plan delivers the same benefits as traditional Medicare? No. If I join a Medicare Advantage plan, can I disenroll and switch to a traditional Medicare? We got to talk about that one. We're going to talk about that one. If I have traditional Medicare and Medicaid, what should I do? We're going to talk about that. So let's go to the first question. What is the biggest difference between traditional Medicare and Medicare Advantage? According to Diane Archer, and this is a fact, to ensure you have good coverage for both current and unforeseeable health needs, you should enroll in traditional Medicare. That's the only guarantee of good health care, not the private system called Medicare Advantage. If you have the ability not to do it, do not do it. In traditional Medicare, you and your doctor decide and the care you need with no prior approval. And you have the easy access to care from almost all doctors and hospitals in the United States with no incentive to stint on your care. In a Medicare Advantage plan, a corporate insurance company decides when you get care, often requiring you to get its approval first. Medicare Advantage plans also restrict access to physicians and too often second guess your treating physicians, denying you needed care inappropriately. The less care the Medicare Advantage plan provides, the more insurance company profits. You will pay more upfront in traditional Medicare if you don't have Medicaid and need to buy supplemental coverage, but you are likely to spend a lot less out of pocket when you need costly care. Regardless of whether you stay in traditional Medicare or enroll in Medicare Advantage, you still pay your Part B premium. See? Should I trust an insurance agent about Medicare Advantage? No. Unfortunately, insurance agents are paid more to steer you away from Medicare and into a Medicare Advantage plan. And remember, Medicare Advantage is not Medicare. Medicare Advantage is not Medicare. Medicare Advantage is the same lousy private insurance that most Americans have. That's all it is. The only reason it's there is because old people, they never insured because it costs too much. So now they get the government to overpay them for insuring older people. Continuing. Unfortunately, insurance agents are paid more to steer them away from Medicare. While some insurance agents might be good, you can't know whom to trust. Keep in mind that while Medicare Advantage plans tell you that they offer you extra benefits, you still need to pay your Part B premium, and extra benefits are often very limited and come with high out-of-pocket costs. Be aware that many Medicare Advantage plans won't cover as much necessary medical and hospital care as traditional Medicare. It's important that you get that. Why can't I rely on my friends or government to steer me to the right Medicare Advantage plan? Unlike traditional Medicare, which gives you easy access to physicians and hospitals you use for everywhere in U.S. and allows for continuity of care, you can't count on Medicare Advantage to plan to cover your care from the health care providers listed in their network or to cover the medically necessary care that traditional Medicare covers. Even if your friends say they're happy with their Medicare Advantage plan right now, they are gambling with their health care. The government's 5-star rating system does not consider that some Medicare Advantage plans engage in widespread inappropriate delays and denial of care. And other Medicare Advantage plans engage in a different bad acts that can endanger your health. So while you should never sign up for Medicare Advantage plan with a 1, 2, or 3-star rating, Medicare Advantage plans with 4 and 5-star ratings can have very high denial and delay rates. Okay? Número 4. If I'm enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan, can I count on seeing the physicians listed in the network? Hell no. Unfortunately, provider networks in Medicare Advantage plans can change at any time, and your out-of-pocket costs can be as high as $8,300 this year for in-network care alone. You can study the Medicare Advantage plan literature, and you can know your total out-of-pocket costs for in-network care, but you cannot know whether the Medicare Advantage plan will refuse to cover the care you need or delay needed care for an extended period. This year alone, dozens of health systems have canceled their Medicare Advantage contracts, further restricting access to care for their patients in Medicare Advantage because Medicare Advantage plans make it hard for them to give people needed care because they lowball them. They try to take, no, I'm not going to pay for that. Number 5, doesn't the government make sure that Medicare Advantage plans deliver the same benefits as traditional Medicare? Hell no. The government cannot protect you from Medicare Advantage bad actors. The insurers offering Medicare Advantage plans can decide you don't need care when you clearly do, and there's no one stopping them. They are largely unaccountable for their bad acts. In the last few years, there have been multiple government and independent reports on insurance company bad acts in Medicare Advantage plans. Number 6, if I join Medicare Advantage plan, can I disenroll and switch to traditional Medicare? You can switch to traditional Medicare each annual open enrollment period. However, there is a caveat. Dependent upon your situation, where you live, your income, your age, and more, you might not be able to get supplemental coverage to pick up your out-of-pocket costs and protect you from high costs. Why? What's worse, you could incur thousands of dollars in out-of-pocket costs in Medicare Advantage. That is, you have to go back through the actuarial tables. You have to go and be when you just, if you're 65, as soon as you enter, if you go for Medicare immediately, not Medicare Advantage, which isn't Medicare. So from now we'll call it Medicare Disadvantage. If you just go for standard Medicare, the supplemental have to take you at the current best cost that they have. If you go from Medicare, if you go at 65 right into Medicare, but if you go ahead and started with Medicare Advantage and the next enrollment period you switch back, they can say, your rate's going to be higher, and you're kind of sick. And because you're kind of sick, what we're going to do is we're going to put you through the actuarial tables again, and we're going to charge you an arm and a leg for covering you. Folks, it's a ripoff. Medicare Advantage is a scam. Lastly, 7, if I have traditional Medicare and Medicaid, what should I do? If you have both Medicare and Medicaid, traditional Medicare covers virtually all your out-of-pocket costs. You will get much easier access to physicians and inpatient services in traditional Medicare than in a Medicare Advantage plan if you need costly healthcare services or a complex condition. Again, call 800-833-4144 for your Medicare rights, folks, for your Medicare rights. Remember, this is very important. I cover this frequently. I cover this often. I cover this vociferously because the private insurance company are scums that, and I try not to use these offensive words, but anybody who causes the death of people, anybody who causes harm to our brothers and sisters, knowingly so, with false representations of what they do, I have no mercy in how I address them. Medicare Advantage is a scam. I repeat, Medicare, even if you enjoy Medicare Advantage now, at some point, when your particular pool stops making the kind of money that they want to make for their shareholders and executives, as was pointed out in this article, they cancel plans on the fly. They'll say, okay, next year, this plan no longer exists, and you have to re-up with some other plan. It's never about the patient. It is always about the Medicare Advantage private insurance companies making money for their shareholders and the execs. So please, folks, if you are in the house, if you are in the process of getting Medicare by December 7th every year or in December every year, please, 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 even if it costs you more, your life is worth more than saving a few dollars. Please refrain from using Medicare Advantage. And if you have the wherewithal, find out what it will cost you to get to hell out of Medicare Advantage while you can, while you still have your health. Because those, and they are scumbags, all of them, even the ones that have a pretty face on, because again, the premise is you get good treatment until your particular plan starts losing money. And you are the ones that pay the price. Never will they pay the price. All right, let's go and see what my dear brothers and sisters have been talking about as I talk about Medicare disadvantage. Let's see. Carl Cox is in the house. Hey, Carl, how are you doing? Let's see who else. Para ver. Eric says Lena's friend and at Elevate Strategy Corporation with the Rangers might just get her indicted. Lying never works. Looks like we got a call here, so let me say hello, 346. How are you doing this afternoon? Hello, may I help you? I guess you didn't want to speak to us today. All right, let's see. Lying never works. Sooner or later, you'll be found out. Look at this post. I don't have to look at a post, my brother. I know. Look, for all of you guys who are just hoping and praying that somehow Lena is going to get indicted, right? Dolcefino likes to, it's one of your puffies, right? So let's see what he does. Let's see. He's been trying to get, Dolcefino has a good record of going after a particular kind of people. Just take a look at the record. That's all I'm going to tell folks. Look at Dolcefino's record. That's all. Dolcefino is a joke. All right, let's continue. John Carter says, A&M is practicing fuzzy math. Carl Cox says, when someone tells you you can get better Medicare benefits according to your zip code, that's a sign it's a scam. I love that you saw that, Carl, because a lot of ads are telling you that on TV. A lot of ads are telling you that on TV. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I'm scrolling down. Picture James Connolly, one of the greatest ever Irish leaders, said many years ago, England has no more moral right to administer Irish affairs than it must administer affairs of America or Japan. No more moral right to police us than it has moral right to shoot us. Innocent people have been killed. Yes, innocent people have been killed and are being killed. But if you look at all colonies, for instance, in North America, George Washington was called a terrorist in his times. Jomo Kenyatta was labeled a terrorist. That's a very good point. Today's terrorist is yesterday's, or today's freedom fighter could be yesterday's terrorist. Very good point. Michael Rudden says, if you look at history of Israel-Palestine, a lot of that is England's fault as well. Well, they were the protectorate of Palestine after it was taken from the Ottoman Empire, right? I need to say, I don't remember how the Ottoman Empire lost Palestine. I imagine it was World War I, but I can't remember. All right. Michael Rudden says, just realized I was wrong. It was the wrong FB video. All right, Carl Cox, Egberto, please read my comments post. It concerns Medicare scam. I think I just did. Eric Hayes says, everyone agrees that prescription drug prices must come down, but Senator Bernie Sanders' PBM reform bill is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Apparently, you don't know what the PBM is. The PBM is why you can have somebody go to the drugstore like CVS and all these guys and pay a high price for a drug. And then you go to GoodRx, and GoodRx has connections with the PBM. I forgot what it stands for, but they go to the PBM, and the PBM has the actual price of what the thing costs, and they can get you a drug that they may be charging you $100 for, and then you get it for $5. What kind of a system is that? That's a sick, immoral system when it comes to having that kind of price differential in drugs. While it claims to lower drug prices, it really increases government control over a cost-saving part of the healthcare system. No, the only reason that part of the healthcare system exists is to make profits for the profit center, not to reduce costs. Again, come on. The best way to control costs is to have one buyer of the drugs. And the maker of the drugs, we don't need all of this at all. We don't need that. All right. E2247 says Palestine will be decolonized with Rawan Iyad Defati. Namar, don't know what that is. All right. Rudden says, was watching on Twitch, wondering where the FB comments were. Didn't match. Don't know. Okay. Michael Rudden also said, of course, anything that's life and death, such as healthcare, should never have the insurance middleman denying coverage. Absolutely not. And Yvette Avery Herod responds to you 100%. All right. Bridge says, hey, all, no power, no internet, but generator is on. Woohoo, have heat. And you have a generator. That's great. I have a generator. I better go ahead and power it up to make sure that it's running fine. Thank you for reminding me about that, Bridge MCP. Hey, all, no power. I got that. Carl Cox says, goodbye. Program today is so-so. Well, sorry about the so-so program for you, Mr. Cox. I try my best. Not every day I'm going to have a program that you like. So I guess I lost you. All right. Bridge MCP says, Transformer Blue Hail Sleet Day Highlands gas portable generator. Good for you, girl. Yvette says, oh no, hope it gets fixed soon, but I know the weather will delay that. Eric Hayes, let's see what else we have for more people. Daniela Doe says, what's happened to government healthcare when we become a fascist state under Trump? Don't fascist states have single payer? Wow, if Donald Trump were to campaign on single payer and one could find a way to believe him, that would actually be a winning. People would forget everything that he did and say, oh, I get single payer and I keep, oh, wow. I don't know. You may have a point there, buddy. Daniel Ledo, fascists would eliminate public healthcare, force people to join private healthcare, then be uncaring when those private healthcare system gouge poor dying people. Oh my God! Guess what, Rudnin? I guess we are already a quasi-fascist state because what you have just said has already come to existence. Gracie Allen said instead of Medicare Part C, you want Medicare Part G for traditional Medicare. Hidalgo will get her WhatsApp lies handed to her. Oh my God. Let me just warn you. WhatsApp is encrypted and it's not stored. If from what I understand, the data in WhatsApp is not stored, but I don't see the problem. All right. We have the technology to run our homes with fossil fuels. All right. Let's see. Daniel Ado says, Bridge, burning fossil fuel to keep warm sounds quite selfish to me. Wear a sweater. Hey, come on. A bridge needs to look. Come on, brother. Who's that? Daniel says that. Daniel, you are so funny. All right, John Carter, not the middle and lower class. Same thinking. We can all afford EV and wait in line to charge them, like we wait in line for gasoline, right? I mean, well, not worth an answer on that one. All right, Trump promised better, cheaper healthcare for everyone back in 2015. Basically, single payer by any other name. Trump lied like everything else he does. Absolutely so. All right, folks, let's see what else I've got here. The next story that we wanted to cover is Sanders invites the Big Pharma CEOs to testify. And one of the reasons that I pulled this story up is, I am waiting for even Sanders to simply tell drug companies patent denied because, again, we created the drugs with taxpayer dollars. Companies go through all kinds of machinations so that they can imply that somehow they are the ones responsible for the drugs. It ain't so, folks. It ain't so. All right. Before I go with that, let's see. Bree says, Egberto, did you get my message? Ireland, Palestine? Which one was that? Long time ago or today? Because I don't think I got that today, but I do remember you sent me to watch a video with regards to Ireland and Palestine, actually sent me several videos on Palestine, etc. So I have gone through some of those. Daniel Edo says, save the planet unless it's inconvenient for me personally. That's not what we're saying. We're saying if you don't have any option to heat yourself, of course you got to use your options. But in the aggregate, so that is the thing that I find that a lot of people on the right need to understand. It's not about me not driving a gasoline car. It's about in the aggregate, we move from gasoline cars to cars that use renewable energy. That's what it's all about. It's not about saying, look, let's look at my house as an example. I could populate my entire roof with solar panels, but the cost recovery for me as an individual makes no sense. The cost recovery for me as an individual makes no sense. Now, if we didn't have capitalism in the way that we put solar panels on people's homes, then it would make sense. If I could get my solar panels at cost and installation at cost, right? It would be great. But people who sell you solar panels, if you spend $25,000 on getting solar panels to your home, I can guarantee you only a third of that is in equipment. Everything else is in profit. The vast majority of the money that they get is in profit. And you know how I know that? The very first quote, I want to show you the disparity here. The very first quote I got for solar panels on my home was $90,000. $90,000. And that was this year. The second quote I got after complaining, the guy said, okay, we'll reduce our profit. And it went from $90,000 to 60-something thousand dollars, almost a $30,000 drop in price. They were still making money, and that's what they said it would cost. I'm like, that don't make any sense. It will take me forever with an average electric bill of $350 to $400 a month. That's $4,800 a year. Amortize it as well. That's a never payback, right? Now I went ahead, and John, I know it's crazy. Bruce gave me his people, and they came in and gave me a quote for $30,000. Same amount of panels, man. Same amount of panels. So if I got a quote between $90,000 and $30,000, a differential of $60,000, what does that tell you about profits? But more importantly, what does it tell you about what they think about me to come and thought they could give me a quote like that I would go for? You know what they did? They look at my bills and they saw that I had high bills in the summer because of all the things that run here. And they figure, hey, look, your mortgage, or rather your 25 years of paying on this stuff plus whatever electricity that you have to buy would be less than the paying the bill for this thing. In other words, it wasn't about what it costs. To them, it was what they were going to save me. And in the aggregate, they would have saved about $100 a month. Come on, people, the thievery. Now, if we are looking for a solution to the green energy problem and putting solar power in everybody's home, ideally, the government could say, we are going to subsidize the panels. Everybody gets the panels at cost. And we get it installed. And you go ahead and get it installed. You really, really start to make a profit, right? Because now, if those panels only cost $8,000 for what you're going to use on your home, and you can pay a company $2,000 to install it, $10,000, I can recover the cost of those panels in about 4 years, right? It makes fiscal and ecological sense, right? So I find it interesting, however, that the same company that gave my brother, Bruce Pollard, a quote that made sense, and both of us are science guys. I'm an engineer. Bruce is a chemist. All right. And, I don't advertise that I'm an engineer when the guys came out here to give me a quote. I just listened to what they had to say. And many a times they were full of SHIT, telling me things that made absolutely no sense. Okay? Things that made no sense. But they looked at me and they made assumptions, and they looked at Bruce and made assumptions. So while Bruce got his at a very good price, and his will pay for itself in good time, I would have been suckered into getting these particular things. It's a shame. Breach, put it link back in the feed for me. All right, let me continue reading here. Let's see. John Cutter says, we have the technology to run our homes without fossil fuels. Yes, we do. Let's see. We also have Michael who says Trump promised better, cheaper health care in 2020, basically single payer, but of course he lied. Let's see. Better to do. I read that one already. I'm scrolling down. Scrolling out today around 3. No, I haven't seen it yet, Bridge. If you put the link in, I may be able to do something. All right. John Carter said cost recovery of solar on your home is 7 to 8 years. And think about if we could get it at cost, that also would be reduced in half. Let's see. What else we got here? John also says both of those quotes are crazy. I know, John. I know. My friend 15 years ago for 1,500 government program incentive. Exactly. John Carter says, even driving 100 miles per day, you can fully charge overnight. Why do you love your fossil truck? Does the smell of burning gas make you happy, or does it carry your truck nuts well? That is so funny. That's a good one, John. Tom C says, per Tom Hartman, car dealers are steering customers away from EVs because they can make more money on repairs of ICE gas, of internal combustion engine gas burning vehicles. EVs have simpler motors, are less expensive to surface. It just shows when we talk about how capitalism, right, can really screw the well-being of a country for those who least know. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about, Tom C. Thanks for presenting that. If you have a link, yes, from Tom Hartman. I need to check out Tom Hartman's link to see where that is coming from. But thank you for giving that. All right. Sanders invites Big Pharma to testify on sky-high drugs. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders and every Democratic member of the committee he chairs sent letters on Tuesday inviting the CEOs of 3 major pharmaceutical companies to testify at an upcoming hearing on the nation's prescription drug costs, which are so high that millions of Americans are forced to ration their medication to save money. The American people have a right to know why it is that they pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, while the pharmaceutical industry in the U.S. makes hundreds of billions in profits and pays their CEOs tens of millions of dollars in compensation. Sanders, chair of the Senate Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, said in a statement. In letters to the top executives of Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Bristol Myers Squibb, Sanders and his Democratic colleagues asked, how does it happen that one out of 4 Americans cannot afford to take the medicines their doctors prescribe, while prescription drugs companies make billions in profits? How does it happen? The letters continue that the median price of new prescription drugs in the United States was $220,000 last year. Think about that. The average price of the new drug, $220,000. If that isn't bona fide ripoff, I don't know what is. Do you think they're going to show up? Hell no. They won't. They won't. Look, it is time for people to just take control, right? Big Pharma, any drug that was developed by public dollars, we should remove the patent and put it in the public domain. And then invite all chemical manufacturers of drugs to go ahead and bid to make the drug. If you want competitive bidding, man, let them bid to make the drugs. And if they go ahead and they bid too high, the government builds a factory. I'm not saying the government should build a factory right offhand, because we want factories that can make stuff for a lot of different people. That's how we get efficiency. But if they want to play hardball, that's what we should do. The drug industry, thugs. The healthcare industry, thugs. Let's remember that. Let's just remember that. John Carter says you can get a Chevy Bolt for about $250 per month once you figure in the total cost to own. Oh, really? Is that what it would cost? I think the Chevy Bolt is fully electric, correct, John? Let me know, because I tell you what, I'm going to need a car pretty soon. And if a Chevy Bolt costs $250 per month once you figure in the total cost to own, I think what you mean is maybe it will be a mortgage. I mean, a payment of $450 plus what you save in gasoline. Is that what we're talking about, John Carter? All right, Reliant. Let's see. John Carter also gave us a link. Thank you for that link, John. And I am going to hold on to that link because I said I hope the next car that I bought could be an electric car. So I went ahead and pulled up. Tired of the 80K electric cars? Oh yeah, I see it, John. I'm going to take a look. The Chevy Volt starts at 27. Wow. That is good. Qualify. I got to read up on that. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Breeze, for sending the link tomorrow. Look, we are 9 minutes out. I have one other story to cover, and that is simple. That it's not really a story. It's just that what's her name? Liz Cheney called out Lee, and I think I had that one on Daily Kos that it was shown. So let's see if I can find Mike Lee. Liz Cheney slams Mike Lee. Here it is. Important story. Republican Senator Liz Cheney slams nutball conspiracy theorist Mike Lee for pushing January 6th lie. Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah took time away from saying the Pentagon is waging an abortion war on American babies to promote huge lies on social media about the nature of January 6, 2021 insurrection on the Capitol grounds in Washington, D.C. House Speaker Mike Johnson announcement of the release of hours of footage of January 6 led the right-wing Osphere to begin posting all of the footage they could find where nothing was happening. It is sort of like reviewing 7 a.m. security footage on September 11, 2001 to prove there was no attack on the World Trade Center. This has led to many right-wingers trying to use the footage to prove that the entire January 6th was a manufactured insurrection. Former Republican Rep Liz Cheney decided to post footage to her formerly Twitter, account showing the actual siege of the Capitol building, writing, "Here's some January 6th video for you." Lee decided to respond to this, writing, "Liz, we've seen footage like that a million times. You made sure we saw that and nothing else. It's the other stuff what you deliberately hid from us that we find so upsetting. Nice try. P.S. How many of these guys are feds, as if you'd ever tell us?" Then Lee retweeted a post from West Virginia lawmaker and guy who apologized profusely and pled guilty to his part in the January 6th insurrection. And I should put that onto the screen because here it is. Oops, I need to put it onto the frame and not that screen, but I need to put that onto, here we go. He apologized profusely. So, when Mike Lee talks certain silliness, he should remember all of this. Anyhow, going back, of course, it ain't a badge in the picture. It's a vape. In other words, he was saying, the guy was passing, showing it's just ridiculous, folks. Let's not allow Mike Lee and the right-wing folks to try to change what January 6th was all about, an attempted coup on the United States of America. John Carter said there was a big snowstorm on the East Coast last year, and several people were trapped on the roads in their cars. The ones in Teslas were able to run their heater all night and still had a lot of power left the next day when many in internal combustion engine power cars either ran out of gas or had a moderate running car and shutting it off. There you go. Now, let's see. Daniel Ledo says, Antifa, thugs, BLM, thugs, SLJ, thug Palestinian protesters, thugs, Egberto. Should you really be calling the other side thugs? Sure seem like thugs. Wow. Thank you, Ledo. I read it. I gave you a little bit of attention. Are you happy now, Mr. Ledo? I hope you're happy. I know. I gave you some attention. You're happy now, sir. All right. So look, we have to be cognizant of what's being attempted here. I had a story on the top of my head that I needed to cover, and it just kind of went after I answered Ledo. It just kind of went, phew. Yeah, Bridge, I wanted to read that one. I really wanted to read that one because it showed such a high level of intellect. I really wanted to read that. I sure wanted to read that. But anyhow, folks, let's again remember what our program was about today. Medicare Advantage. Say no to Medicare Advantage. Say no to Medicare Part C. Please do not be conned into it. Only accept Medicare, standard Medicare, standard Medicare. I will check the FB messages, my dear sister. I will check the FB messages. I can't play that right now, of course, but I will check my Facebook messages. There was another subject that I wanted to cover, and it just slipped my mind right off the top. And I think it was sort of important. Whatever the case is, let's see if I can remember. Egberto, what were you thinking about? You didn't write it down, and you're paying the price for not having written it down. But whatever the case is, folks, don't accept Medicare Advantage. Just standard, traditional Medicare. And here's the thing. Here's the article to read. Yeah, I know, babes. Old age. What can I say? I'm getting old. I don't want to get old. I want to stay young. That's my goal. That is my goal. Anyhow, wow, I had a point that I wanted to make. Let's see what we're talking about. We're talking about Medicare Advantage. We talk about this other one. Anybody want to call me? 281-823-7747. We can talk for a minute. 281-823-7747. But if nobody calls, I think it is time for me to do my ask. I ask you so kindly. Wrong message there. I ask you so kindly to please support Politics Done Right. And how can you support Politics Done Right? How can you say, I want to make sure and keep truth tellers on the air? You can do that by going to politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. Click on that, and that gives you many different avenues in which you can support our program. politicsdoneright.com/support. We cannot do this without you. We cannot inform without you. We cannot create a sphere of influence where we matter without you. It is you who gets this done. Thank you, Redden, for having been here. And please subscribe. Please become a subscriber of our newsletter. The newsletter is free, first of all. But if you become a paid subscriber of the newsletter, you have access to all of my books. I have written 5 books. And let me tell you, any subsequent book that I write, you will have access to. I promise you that. Tom C. says, Groucho Marx said, I intend to live forever or die trying. And I'm going to die trying, living forever. Anyway, folks, so please support the program. politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. Or you can subscribe to our newsletter free of charge. It is politicsdoneright.com/ I put netroots. I meant newsletter. Why did I put net? Forget that. I have a bad link in there. I forgot. We want to go ahead and do politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Egberto, ¿qué es lo que te pasa contigo? Here is the newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Not politicsdoneright.com/netroots. That's old. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Please become a paid subscriber. If you do that, you have access to all of my books. I got to get out of here. Thank you for being here, John Cotter in Tokyo, Japan. He says, great show. Have a great evening. You have a great rest of your day, sir. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help